Welcome to the latest episode of Honest Reviews, a long overdue episode of Honest Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at the Them Skates Street Frame. I normally skate Create Original frames. I like to skate them anti-rocker, but Create Originals are kind of tough to get over the last couple of years. I know that Monterey recently got a new Pro frame in various colours, but it's not available in the UK yet, and ordering them from shops in Europe comes with a hefty price tag now because of Brexit. So yeah, thanks for that. Instead, I decided to give these a try, but I was reluctant about a couple of things just because in the design they talk about a spacer that goes on the outside underneath the bolt or axle, whatever you want to call it, and it's normally on the outside, and that made all the metal stay flush. So it meant that you were grinding, say, I don't know, coping on metal, and it would give you the true grind feel. It would give you kind of the metal skateboard truck feel. I don't want that because I mainly skate street, so I moved them to the inside. I tried taking them out completely, but that meant that the wheels shook inside the frame, and I just wasn't into that at all. I also was a little bit apprehensive because they are quite thick. Now, I've got a Create Original frame for you to see here. This is slightly thicker, so I was worried that I was going to lose even more sole space because the sole space on the Thems is quite small and the negative is really small, but decided to give them a chance. I've been skating them anti-rocker. I know they're designed to be skated flat, but the way I see it is if they're good enough for Randy Spicer, it's good enough for me. I've been skating these for about a month. I think I've maybe skated about 7 or 8 times. Sometimes the weather was too bad, so we just skated a box in a car park, and other times managed to skate street. Got some footage. It's not the best in the world, but yeah, it's all I could manage. And yeah, you just get a general idea of how the frames are performing. In addition to getting some clips, I also got some good bails. I managed to put a skelf right through my thigh on that wooden ledge that you see, and I took a few slams on the rail box as well. So for your viewing pleasure, enjoy watching me get hurt. Now that we've all had a good laugh about that, I'll give you my first impressions of the frames. I was really impressed with the build quality. So I like the fact that axles only tighten on one side. That's a feature that's most commonly associated with ground control frames, but them have put a little bit of a twist on it by making it kind of look like an eye drop, and I really like it. Works really well. It's not rounded in any way. I've, changed wheels on them a few times. I tried flat on them for like 40 minutes, hated it, so I just went straight back to anti-rocker. I'm using 59mm muzzle wheels, but you could probably easily get, I'm going to say 61mm in there. I don't know if it's the same for riding flat, but definitely on the outside. What I love about them is, because it's got the walls here, which you can see in between the wheels, it makes the frame a lot sturdier and it makes it a lot quieter when you land, so it just gives you that dull thud, and I love it when my skate is as quiet as possible. I know I was apprehensive about the spacers being there and pushing the bolt out a little bit, but because I had them on the inside, I didn't feel it on any grinding surface on the outside, and on the few times that I did negatives, now that I've pretty much entirely lost them in these skates, I didn't really notice any difference either, so I would say that it worked out fairly well. One thing I will point out for anyone that's interested, I am riding the large frame, and the large frame, the H block, the length of it is 5 centimeters, so 50mm, and that is slightly longer than the Create Originals one. I think that's around 40, so I think there's, maybe 10mm difference. I got on really well with these. Another thing that was kind of freaking me out about them was the really shallow grooves. I've had that before in Symmetrics frames and it took a really long time to get used to them, but with these, it didn't really feel that there was much braking at all. I wasn't slipping out or, coming off grinds. The main thing I attribute that to is the plastic on these is actually quite soft, which makes you wear in a groove really quickly. So I've had these for, like I said, I've skated them for a month, maybe 6 or 7 sessions. There's already a notable groove on that side, which is my front foot for soles and royales, and there's already quite a sizable groove that you can see there, and that's my royale foot. Now, maybe like the Symmetrics, I noticed when I was skating those that for the first, month or two, they would wear in really quick. You'd get a groove really quickly, and then it would just stop, like wearing away. It would just, I don't know if the plastic gets harder, or if it gets denser or something, just further up the top. I'm hoping that's the same with these, but that is my only real complaint with these frames. In summary, I do really enjoy these frames. I was incredibly apprehensive when it came from going to Create Originals to these, because I've been riding Creates for, I'm going to say, 3 years, maybe longer, and I just couldn't see myself enjoying another frame. These I have really, really liked. The shallow groove isn't that much of an issue. The extra width isn't that much of an issue on them. They still, grind and lock on perfectly well. I'm quite annoyed about the spacer thing. I just think it's unnecessary. I kind of feel that way about a lot of hardware when it comes to them, because when they've got their mounting system for the sole plates, you basically have to tape the insides in just to screw them on, or you have to hold them in. It's just kind of fidgety, and there's lots of little bits that I just wish they would find a way around to make it simpler, or just, less moving parts. But with these frames, they do seem like they will last a while, even though it's worn away there. I'm thinking that once it gets to the line, it is probably just going to stop, which is great because I like having big grooves in my frames. I'm curious to try them again in flat, but I just lose all confidence when I skate flat. I already have a limited trick vocabulary anyway. When I start skating flat, it just diminishes even further. If, like me, you're a massive fan of Create Originals, but you're struggling to find them, whether you're in the UK or Europe or anywhere else, I would suggest giving these a try. I don't know if you can buy them individually or if they only come with the skates, but a lot of people have been buying the Danny Beers and the Them 909s and just getting rid of the frames because there's this kind of stigma towards stock frames. I do not consider this a stock frame. I think it's definitely a higher quality. I wouldn't say it was the best frame I've ever skated. I definitely preferred Symmetrics frames and Create Originals, but I would say they are a good alternative and they are significantly cheaper than Symmetrics frames. So they're worth trying out, and if they don't work out for you, you've not lost out on that much money. If you have any questions about this review or want to know any more about the frames, such as measurements, you know, like what wheel sizes they take, I'm pretty sure I already mentioned what wheel sizes they take, but let me know in the comments, and yeah, see you next time.